Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Dual Destinies. I'm going to stop saying that I'm feeling better, because every time I do that, I get sick again. No, I'm not sick again now. I'm trying to get out of the third time I got sick again. I don't know what's going around, guys, but this is really bad. I've never been this sick for as long as it's been. But yeah, I'm gonna stop saying that. I'm getting worse. I'm gonna say that, alright? But anyway, since we left this off, like, literally 5 minutes before the end of the trial, we're gonna go straight into the investigation, because this part of the trial is almost done. Either way, the oxygen remaining should increase, just as your rations don't increase. Therefore, this new information is critical. We can't overlook it.
Silence.
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of the mysteriously increasing oxygen? You better not disappoint, or I'll declare the inconsistency as mere equipment malfunction. Okay.
Prosecutor Blackwell has a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So, do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased?
Of course I can! The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. So this man with a 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have shown an 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not why did the oxygen tank level increase, but what had to have happened to make it look like it increased? Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumptions here?
Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. The victim was carrying the defendant. What if it was the other way around?
The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice?
As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out, this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Tarrant, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Tarrant at all. It was Mr. Tarrant who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge.
It was what? Order! Order! Mr. Justice! You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Tarrant?
It's the only way the riddle of the increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. So when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right! There's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. This means Mr. Tarrant was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence.
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed? Even if the victim was alive at this point in time. How did he descend the ladder with his arms full?
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade. Apologists will not take any of your shit, Blackwell. Excuse me? It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating. But we have proven that Mr. Tarrant was alive when we reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims, and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. Gah! There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements? Let's see, the two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given us false statements to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging.
It seems we'll have to hear this testimony of these first two people on the scene.
Score!
Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. Bailiff, could you please show Detective Arm to the stand?
Hold it! Hello? I have an announcement, everyone.
What's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here.
Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. The bomb was defused, but it's about to explode.
Load?
And now we go back to case 1. A bomb? Now? Ah!
Everybody run!
Eee! I don't want to die! Oh no! Everyone's panicking! Doesn't look like they're panicking.
Silence.
Headless chickens with a death wish, the lot of you. Calm yourselves before all else. Come on, Apollo! Let's get out of here!
But what about Mr. Starbuck's dream? Who will carry out Clay's final wish? I don't care what happens to me. I'm not letting some bomb blow the truth up forever.
Apollo.
I refuse to let things end here.
Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic. If we don't get out of here now, we're gonna die. Come on, this way.
Hey, ouch! Let me go!
Apollo!
Juniper? She hasn't evacuated yet?
Ah!
Juniper, are you alright?
Apollo, no! Not that way!
Ah! And now we know how Case 1 came to be. And I should get it to be continued. Yeah, well, we're continuing, so... No! In the middle of the Space Center bombing trial, we had another bombing incident. This one destroyed courtroom number 4. Furthermore, Apollo suffered massive injuries from being there when the bomb went off. Unfortunately, Juniper Woods was fingered as the courtroom bomber. Athena and I knew she had to be innocent, so we took her case on. We managed to clear Miss Wood's name. But Apollo sustained further injuries when he was attacked by Ted Tonate. Apollo's life is suffering. We've concluded this about several cases back. Or at least back in Apollo Justice. Apollo is a tough guy, but this is taking its toll on him. Yeah, poor guy. Being attacked by Ted Tonate like that on top of all of his other injuries. Apollo is resting at the nearby Hickfield Clinic. I've had some experience with that place myself. What an awful turn of events. I never thought he'd land in a hospital of all places. You must miss him too, huh? Now that you don't have anybody to tease. Don't worry, he's young. He'll heal quickly and be back before you know it. It's been a while since I last saw Trucy look so down. We won the court case, yet nobody feels like much like celebrating. Alright, enough of this, people! This is no time to be moping around. Now dry those eyes, both of you! You're the only one who's crying, Athena. Technicalities! Look, we have work to do. We have to take over. Take over what exactly? Apollo Space Center case, of course! As no verdict's been reached, there's still a chance! I agree with Athena. We should pick up Mr. Starbuck's defense. We have to avenge our fallen comrade, right, Daddy?
Apollo hasn't exactly fallen. He's still alive, you know. Good! Now that that's settled, let's get going! Come on, we gotta run! Wait, right now? Now? We better not be running the whole way. There she goes. I better go catch up. Can you take care of the office, Trucy? Sure thing, Daddy. Let's be careful out there. In the meantime, I'm going to bake some cookies and fill up my magic panties for you. Trucy seems to be feeling a little better. Magic panty jokes. I can always count on Athena to perk everyone up for their enthusiasm. Oh, she's back! Don't mind me, just forgot a few things. Wallet, phone, the documents, my bag. That's a lot of things to forget. Sounds more like you forgot everything. I can always count on Athena for that too. Alright, you two, let's be careful out there. You're not even going anywhere, Trucy. So our client is one Solomon Starbuck. He's so famous even I've heard of him. That's right! He's a super famous astronaut who works at the Cosmos Space Center. He was actually up in outer space 7 years ago. You seem to know quite a bit about him. Now I'm all excited to meet the man. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. Apollo told me all about you. You're Phoenix Wright, Apollo's mentor, right? Yes, that's right. Mentor has a nice ring to it. Phoenix. Don't worry about a thing, Mr. Starbuck. Mr. Wright and I have got you covered. And you're the new kid that Apollo told me about. Wait, don't I know you from somewhere? Huh? You mean other than at your trial? I don't think so. I guess so. My mistake. My memory isn't what it used to be. My mind and body are kaput. Same goes for my life. I mean, I'm so astronomically unlucky that I had a bomb go off in the middle of my trial. Trying to defend me would be like trying to enter the stratosphere without a spacecraft. Yikes, he's seriously gotta stop depressing himself. Cheer up, Mr. Starbuck. Besides, that thing you said about entering the stratosphere? That just means we shine like shooting stars, right? Like shooting stars, huh? You know, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? After all, that's what we're all put on this earth to do, right? To shine like stars. I guess I shouldn't mention the fact that shooting stars burn out in the flash. Oh yeah, here we go! 3, 2, 1! To the stratosphere and beyond! Yeah, I feel alive now. You can go ahead and ask me anything you want. Is that really all it takes? Oh, wait, we gotta present the badge first. Present my badge! So, what do you think about this? The evidence is gonna get me convicted. No, it's my attorney's badge. I was hoping it would reassure you that we're here to defend you. Evidence isn't just for prosecution. It can help prove a person's innocence, too. That's a positive spin on things. I thought that was common knowledge. No. Okay, time to present. I don't have the picture. Aha! Clay always used to cheerfully greet me in a loud voice. And he did vocal exercises every morning sometimes until he was hoarse, right? Exactly. You could always hear him, even through the wall. Hey, wait a minute. Did you know Clay? No, but like attracts like, as they say. That was sad. So you have no memory at all of the incident? I'm so ashamed. My memory of the time is as black as clouded, and clouded as a dark nebula. Still, it's strange you don't remember a thing. Are you sure you didn't take one of those anti-anxiety pills like they said at the trial? You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation, too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. It is true I developed a fear of space because of what happened 7 years ago. And I was taking medication secretly every now and then when my anxiety got bad. Having a fear of space is not something an astronaut can brag about, you know? Oh, the so-called HAT-1 miracle? That must have been a terrifying experience. But I'm still an astronaut at heart, come what may. I would never take drugs that might impede my performance just before a launch. That launch meant everything to me. That's more certain than the theory of relativity. He seems like a completely different person now. This is the face of the astronaut I know. But the tranquilizers were found in your system. Oh, that was a sigh. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't know why. I'm done for. If you didn't take them, then maybe somebody slipped them to you? Exactly! That's what I thought. It must have been the real culprit. My medication was in my locker. Anybody could have gotten their hands on it. Maybe the real culprit also planted the detonator switch in your pocket. Yeah, that's gotta be it. I've been framed. I'll say. They even managed to plant your prints on the switch before slipping it in. It's a real possibility. Do you remember anything else that might be relevant? Anything at all, no matter how small. Like about the murder weapon, for example. That knife. I think it came from one of the Space Center's utility kits. Utility kits? Yeah. Staff who work on machinery a lot are given these special toolkits to use. All the technicians have them, so I doubt you could prove whose knife it is. Oh boy. Well, I guess we can narrow it down that it's a technician. Maybe. As I recall, your last trip into space was 7 years ago, right? That's right. It was a pretty rough experience. During the mission, we had all kinds of problems with the craft. You did? What kind of problems? Power failure, oxygen leakage, busted radio, cracked windows, loose control column. The heat shield came off as we were entering the atmosphere. I thought I was a goner. But I managed to make it somehow with this popsicle and ice packs from the freezer. No wonder they dubbed it the HAT-1 miracle. It's a miracle you made it back! Space is a boundless place. That's why it continues to capture people's imaginations. But the vastness of space shows us how insignificant we are in the scheme of things. The darkness just goes on and on forever, and ever, and ever, without end. There was nobody else there. Nobody was gonna come save me. I was all alone. This part of it's actually kind of scary without any visuals. This is a sound effect, man. I'm going in a set of aliens. All alone, with nothing to listen to but the sound of my own breathing and heartbeat. I kept scrambling to make repairs, but I couldn't keep my hands from shaking. An experience like that would make anybody afraid to go up into space. But the experience you had, weren't you dreading this mission? What? No way. Of course not. Even now, I want to go up into space so bad I can barely stand it. I want to shake off the Earth's gravity and escape velocity and spin around weightless. But you have to admit it was pretty harrowing. Weren't you even a tiny bit afraid? I was afraid. Of course I was. Still am. But space is man's final frontier, an unknown world. The cosmic truth is out there waiting for us somewhere. The cosmic truth, huh? I guess there are people looking for the truth in every walk of life. No matter how afraid I am, I'm sure I can manage. If I give in to my fear, I'll never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep up the fight. One thing's for sure, Mr. Starbuck's passion for space is undeniably the real deal. The victim, Clay Tarrant. He was kind of like your protege, wasn't he? Well, it wasn't a big exaggerated deal like master and apprentice or anything like that. But Clay did think of me as his mentor. The mentor and the protege. What a combination they must have been. With this encouragement, I knew I could get over my fear and go back into space. But now... Clay must have been very encouraging, huh? Yeah, it's funny, really. Whenever I'd hear him shout, "You're fine!" I always got a feeling everything really was gonna be fine. You're fine? Apollo says I'm fine, and you're fine all the time, too! And I always feel encouraged, too, whenever I hear him shout it. Yeah, Clay and Apollo were best buds. They used to come visit the Space Center a lot, ever since they were high school kids. One day, out of the blue, Clay even told me he wanted to be my protege. Those two hung around the Space Center so much they were like a part of staff. One time during Zero-G training, I started to panic a little bit. And the two of them took turns shouting, "You're fine!" over the radio. It was a simple thing, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. So I'm fine and you're fine were like Apollo and Clay's secret phrases, huh? I wish I could ask Apollo more about Clay and their relationship now. No, don't! It's sad! Speaking of Clay, how do you suppose he climbed down the ladder with you over his shoulder? Sorry, but I can't even begin to imagine. But he actually did climb down that ladder, so a way has to exist. From the freedom of space to the walls of a cell. But the prosecutor said the dark night sky isn't half bad through barred windows. You're fine, Solomon! You're fine! Solomon Soul Starbuck is fine! Everything is going to be alright! Huh? And Athena Sykes is fine! Come on, Mr. Wright, you too! Do I really have to? Phoenix Wright is fine. I can't hear you! Phoenix Wright is fine! We'll get you back into space yet, Mr. Starbuck. Believe in your own innocence, and have faith in us. Apollo believed in you wholeheartedly, and that's good enough for me. I believe in you too. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I'll put my faith in you. Excuse me. And I vow to make it back into space. All I need first is a not guilty verdict. It sure feels nice to reassure ourselves every now and then that we're all fine. Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's get our investigation of the Space Center started. Pronto! Good idea. Let's go. I believe that's it, then. Let's head to the entrance at the Space Center. Wow, I was wondering what kind of place this Space Center would be. It almost looks like an amusement park of the future. Yeah! Did you know they even let the public see their rockets up close? Oh, so check it out! Look how bright the... How do you say that? You know what? How do you... Gyaxa logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. Gyaxa, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Yeah, but why the strange acronym? I mean, what is GYA supposed to stand for? Galaxy? If it were that word, then the whole thing would be something like Galaxy Exploration Agency. Which, if you ask me, I'd have abbreviated to GAXA or even GAEA. I guess so. Oh, I know. Maybe the person who came up with the name just really likes the letter Y. This exchange is beginning to feel oddly like deja vu. Anyway, this place is more than just a research facility. It's also a tourist attraction. Okay. Tourist attraction? Don't make me laugh. It's a monument to the human race. Galactic Scooter, full speed ahead. Oh my god, here comes the best theme song in this game. my god. Yikes! Who's this geezer and what's he want?
Look upon me and look well! Behold the great power of space science!
Pardon me, but you are...
My glorious name is Yuri Cosmos! I am the director of the Cosmos Space Center! The center of the cosmos!
Boss? That was pretty groan-inducing. If this person is the Space Center's director, then that means... Aha! So you were one of the first to discover Clay's body, weren't you?
And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were two of them.
The Space Center director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candace Arm.
That is correct. It was an honor to find the very first man in all of space and time to discover the body. But this talk of the incident. Are you by any chance the Space Police?
You can't tack the word space onto just any old thing, you know. We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We're here to investigate his case. Oh, and we're Earth lawyers, by the way.
Ah, I see. Yes, I've heard about you. In that case, by my esteemed privilege, I grant you permission to investigate. I trust you are appropriately grateful. Now go again. Go ahead. Have at it. Ugh, gruffy voice.
I can already tell he's going to be nothing but trouble. Don't let him hear you say that, or you'll see what trouble really is. Let's just be professional and ask him about when he found the body, okay?
First things first. Present my badge!
Excuse me, but about this piece of evidence.
Let me ask you a question. What will that object contribute to the future of mankind?
What?
Not much, I guess. Then how important could it be? Quite unlike the great historical figure, Yuri Cosmos. Ha 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 ha!
If he's any more self-absorbed, he'll turn into his very own black hole. Does this do anything?
What a shame, truly. Clay was so young. He was an outstanding man who could have contributed greatly to the future of mankind.
He was an exceptional man, wasn't he?
If he had gone into space, my reputation would have grown even loftier. Why did he have to die before he went into space?
Someone needs to teach him he is not the literal center of the cosmos. So, as director, what do you do here at the Space Center, specifically?
Defend peace across the galaxy and promote space development in this country. No matter what obstacle stands in our way, we keep going for the sake of mankind!
I believe I used the word specifically in my question.
Attention, all personnel! To your break stations! Prepare for break!
Oh, I get it. You just wander around and tell people what to do in a self-important manner.
That is exactly right, because I am an important man. My manner is important.
Your matter? Or is it manner? Mr. Wright? This man doesn't get sarcasm. Well, there's bound to be some people like that, here in this boundlessness of space.
What's that? You want to know what it is that makes me important, specifically? Well, very well, I will tell you. I was the central figure of the HAT-1 project. You may proceed to be appropriately impressed. Now go ahead, have at it!
I might be more impressed if I knew what he did for it, specifically. Could you tell us what you know about the incident from the other day?
I refuse!
What?
Explaining is a job for a common folk, not the director of the center of the cosmos. My testimony, which will go down in space history, will be heard in the courtroom.
What? So does that mean you'll be taking the stand tomorrow?
That is correct! I will be! The most glorious witness in the history of mankind!
I'm not sure if he really understands what being a witness is all about. Looks like Director Cosmos is the type that only talks about what he wants to talk about. And let's at least try to ask him about the things he might be willing to open up about. The HAT-1 was a rocket that was launched into space 7 years ago, correct? And despite numerous problems, it somehow made it back home?
I suppose it is part of my job to educate ignorant young folk like you. Very well, I will impart to you the complete story of the HAT-1 project.
Oh, thank you very much.
HAT-1's noble mission was to collect samples from an asteroid, and Mr. Starbuck was the pilot for that flight. Eventually, the HAT-1 reached its planned orbit, from where it launched the Hope probe towards the asteroid belt. From there, the Hope probe began its long, lonely journey into the far reaches of space. Then, after a terrifying struggle, the HAT-1 returned safely to Earth.
That struggle was when the incident known as the HAT-1 miracle occurred, right?
Correct! And it truly was a miracle. Of course, they just had to turn the ordeal into a movie. As for the Hope probe, it did eventually arrive safely at its destination. It obtained a few samples from the asteroid and returned to Earth but a few days ago.
So what kind of samples are they? What's in them?
The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the day before Terran's murder. Regrettably, we had no time to inspect the samples due to everything that has occurred. But this puts our space development program ahead of other countries by several years.
That's quite impressive. I guess this guy isn't just a loudmouth braggart after all.
In the golden age of space development, our predecessors were successful in bringing a moon rock back. That is the greatest achievement in the history of this space center. The public fell in love with space and all of its glorious potential.
A moon rock, huh? I remember that being big.
Our endeavors for the moon rock lives on in our work with those asteroid samples. I want to bestow new hopes and dreams for the future upon mankind once again. That is my mission, as the man who stands at the center of the cosmos!
I hear there's lots of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the results could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there.
What? Bite your tongue! It's not for anything so based on money or politics. It's all for the brilliant future that awaits mankind, and all for my illustrious mission. Okay, Yuri. With the recent budget cuts, my staff tells me finances are tight, but I won't hear it.
I guess even a space program has to watch its budget. By the way, you seem awfully knowledgeable about this kind of thing, Athena. Huh? Oh, well, you know, I thought I'd better brush up for the case. Is that so?
Well, I'll be on my way. As you can see, I am a very busy and a very important man. Galactic Scooter, fire up the main engine, max battle speed, and engage!
Oh my god. That thing is surprisingly fast. I guess we better get going too. You bet! Let's make it so! Well, actually, we'll make it so in the next video, because, wow, 3 minutes over time. Whatever, Yuri Cosmos is fun. So I'll see you guys in the next video! Also, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, comment, and like, or just give suggestions of what I'm doing and such like that in the stuff below. Yeah. The usual. Goodbye!